Morning.
I'm counselor.
Hi, nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you. I don't have a clue what you're doing, but I like the pictures.
Yeah, I don't either. I think they're awful.
They are, and like if my child were going here, I would choose for them not to be exposed to that.
Yeah.
I can have the discussions without the pictures.
I think the discussion is more powerful with.
Okay, understand where you're coming from. I would just appreciate it and I do want you to know that we do have students who get pregnant here.
Yeah.
And we have a program called Strong Tomorrows that supports them, and they can earn points for staying in school and having good grades. They can, they're in a special advisory so that they can have, speakers come and talk to them about how to take care of their children.
Yeah.
They can earn babies' car seats and cribs and diapers, and they're given snacks and pass to go whenever it is that they need something.
Right.
So we do, support them having children.
Yeah.
But I just
Thankful to hear that.
Yeah, and we do at I believe every single school. I know they have it at Hale, and I know they have it at McLean, and they have it at Memorial. It's a great program.
Sure.
And then we also have a program for the fathers as well to help them stay engaged.
Yeah, it makes sense. I see what you're talking about.
Yeah, and unfortunately, we do have a lot of teen pregnancies. I wish we didn't.
Right. I wish so too. Believe me.
Yeah. It makes life harder for them. So we try to do everything, including getting them into CAP's program and all that. Get their babies in.
Yeah, I'm familiar with CAP. Absolutely.
Yeah. So I just wish that those pictures that you would show those.
Couldn't agree with you more.
Just because I know a lot of the parents, and I have had some students come in upset by the pictures, and unfortunately the ones who are so upset by them are the ones who are not engaging in anything.
I know, that's one of the weird what's the word? Paradoxes of trying to stand for righteousness and whatnot. Yeah, it is weird. So I totally understand your request. We live in a Holocaust, and these young ladies who are being, who are getting pregnant, they're not the only ones who are complicit or affected. The blood of children running through our streets. There's 25 babies murdered in I used to live in Tulsa every week, plus the ones who are murdered by the birth control pill, Plan B,
How does this affect you personally? How? How could this affect you personally?
Well, there's lots of ways. One way that comes to mind is that a baby that was murdered 40 years ago.
But it's not your baby.
That's true. But
it's not your body.
That's true.
It's not your.
That's true. It was his body. You could ask the same thing. I think the same question could have been asked to somebody 200 years ago in Georgia. Like, if your neighbor owns slaves, how does that affect you? Because you don't own.
We're not talking about slavery.
I know, but the analogy is almost perfect.
No.
And for that reason,
it's not.
Why not?
Because that was 200 years ago. That was our founding fathers' choice.
Right.
That was not our choice.
Right.
If we didn't have slavery, then that would have been perfect. Okay? So here's what my problem is. You're out here preaching hate.
Oh, I disagree totally.
May I speak?
Just don't make false accusations and we'll be okay. Well, I'm not preaching hate. That's ridiculous.
Yes, you were.
Like what?
These children were
I
so
really strenuously object. What did I say that's hateful?
You were talking about murdering children.
Holocaust, 9/11.
Yeah, because I hate slavery.
Everyone
Enslaving
does.
somebody is hateful. Murdering somebody is hateful. I'm standing against those things.
We're
So I'm
not
standing against hate.
murdering anybody.
But we're complicit in it is what I'm trying to say. We stand by and tolerate it.
Okay, you can believe that. That's totally fine.
I haven't seen you at the abortion mill.
Spewing this
for example.
crap in front of our school.
What crap? Be specific.
Selling abortions for $40 at Walgreens.
They do.
So?
Well, we should stand up and rise up against it. That's what I'm trying to say.
Okay, that's their choice. It's not your choice.
But it was their choice to own slaves. Should we have remained silent about that?
Most didn't. That's why we had the Civil War.
Most did. That's why we had the Civil War.
Yes.
No, most did remain silent. That's why the war occurred.
But
in which millions of people died.
Agree with it. They were trying to get rid of it.
Well, very few people did anything about it. If you read history...
Did it happen? Yes, it did.
Because of a war that killed a million people.
We can have our choice. That is absolutely okay.
It's not it's not okay to choose to murder someone else.
Yes,
ever.
it is. It's my choice. It's not murdered. My choice.
Yeah,
my body, my choice.
But
you have
the baby
no
is
say
not your body.
in what I do with my body.
The baby is not your body.
Abortions happen before the baby is even fully formed. So
Exactly.
You're not fully formed either. It's not okay to murder you.
But we're alive. We're breathing.
The baby's alive. What is it? A rock?
the baby is not breathing on its own, therefore it is not technically
What is
alive.
it about breathing that confers humanity? Have you ever thought about that? I can tell you haven't. That's why you're like, ugh. But think about it. Engage the brain instead of your emotions, guys.
I am.
Okay, then what is it about breathing that confers humanity on someone?
What does that have to do with anything right now?
Well, you just said that the baby's not human, it's not breathing, and you made a connection between the two. Okay, so what do you think? When do you think the baby becomes a human?
Once it comes out of the uterus.
What is it about emerging from the birth canal that confers humanity on
Because
someone?
it is living on its own without the support of its mother.
You leave that baby alone, he'll die. What is it about being connected via an umbilical cord that
Because we are
makes you
keeping
not
that
human?
child alive.
I know.
Okay.
I know how pregnancy works.
Do you?
Yes,
Okay.
I've had children. I have children. I mean, there's no need to be condescending and mean like that. Okay. I know how that stuff works. What is it about being connected via umbilical cord?
I'm being condescending and mean, but you're not being rude and hateful.
I'm not being hateful.
Oh yes, you were. Oh yes,
Well,
you were.
I mean, we're back to that
So
again. I
coming
guess.
at a bunch of
Oh yes,
teenagers
we
with a
are
megaphone
about
isn't
that again.
hateful.
You're about this
Correct.
again.
I
Depends
do
on what you
realize,
say.
You do realize we have tests and you're giving us migraines at
Sorry to hear you have a
7
migraine.
in the morning.
8 in the morning.
Yeah, 8 in the morning. I think this is really, really important. Otherwise, I wouldn't do it. That's why I'm not out here talking
How
about
is it
football.
important to you?
Well,
How
because
does
we
this
live in a
affect you?
Holocaust.
How do we affect you? Stop saying that. We do not live in a Holocaust.
Okay. I mean, it doesn't matter if you deny it. We do live in a Holocaust.
How?
70 million babies are dead
So,
in 45 years.
how does that affect you? It doesn't.
Well, in a lot of different ways. I'd be
How?
happy to tell you. So, for one example, 40 years ago, a baby who was murdered, for all you know or I know, might have been a total genius who would have conquered world poverty, cancer, and AIDS by now. But instead, he's murdered in his mother's womb. That affects me. He might have been a very smart politician or a scientist or a doctor or a musician.
So if I had a baby, or if I was pregnant right now and decided to get an abortion, how would that affect you personally? How?
Well, it's hard in one practical
don't
way, it's hard to
know.
know. That's true. I also don't know that it doesn't. However, what I do know is that it creates guilt for our nation, and God has actually said,
I wouldn't feel guilty. That's my choice.
well, I know, that's because you suppressed your conscience, but I do believe that you would feel
I'm
guilt.
not suppressing my conscience.
Well, I think you are.
Because if I got pregnant right now, I would have to quit school to take care of this baby. That means it put me back because I didn't finish high school because of the baby.
Right.
I don't have money to take care of that baby.
Ask for help.
Who's going to help me?
Plenty of people would help you.
Who?
Ask.
Listen-
What about family, friends, and churches? How about
Okay,
them?
we don't have money to take care of
How about
a
family,
child.
friends, and churches? I know you just said you didn't, but what about family,
I don't
friends, and
have
churches?
family.
You don't have any family at all?
No.
What about friends
it's
and
not.
churches?
How are my 17-year-old friends going to help me raise my own baby?
How about older friends?
I don't have older friends.
I would be happy to step in and help you as well.
No, I don't want you near me.
Arguing
Well, see, there you go.
with these kinds of people, that's no good. So, come on. Come on. We'll do this our way. We have a pretty...
You know, as sad as that conversation makes me, I pray that someone in your position who has had training in rational thought and whatever, you can see what's going on here.
Oh, yeah.
The fact that she's upset is an excellent reason for us to have these conversations. It's only through the turmoil that we make any progress toward rational dialogue.
I understand
Because it's a
that.
very emotionally charged topic, because people, but that's not because people, I don't think that she's necessarily had an abortion. I'm not, you know, but what I'm trying to say is that she has this connection to it. The connection is sin. It's a spiritual connection that people love sin, and I would encourage you to check out in your own heart whether you love sin. You know, what sacred cows would you not like poked as well?
No, I've got a great sense of guilt.
No. So do I.
That's my.
That's why I fled to the cross
that's
of
what
Christ.
I don't like.
Are you a Christian?
I used to be.
Used to be.
And that's a very long story.
I understand.
You know.
And I won't ask you to tell me because I know we don't know each other. I would just encourage you from total stranger to another total stranger. I also have a very crushing sense of guilt.
Yeah.
I think the only right way to deal with it is to flee to Christ, because there's nothing you can do to erase that guilt. Everything that you do is just going to keep either masking it or adding on to it. Only Christ can erase it.
I learned when I was about 27, and I'm now, that the way to not feel guilt is to not do anything that's against your morals and values.
I suppose that's true. The problem is we still got that. We got that other stack, and we still make mistakes, don't we? We still sometimes mess up.
I know. Sometimes I mess up, and then I kill myself over it, and
I don't want you to do that. That's why Jesus bled on that cross.
I know, but
in real
when I was
history,
a Christian, I still was like, oh gosh, I'm better than that. I shouldn't have done that.
Yeah.
But
the thing is, we're not better than that. We're not,
I know, but I mean, I know,
we're expressing ourselves.
I know better than that. I shouldn't.
Well, I hear you.
I know better than that.
I'm just encouraging you to remember that, that guilt is given to you as a gift by God.
Okay, so
that guilt serves to lead us to Jesus, so we'll seek forgiveness.
I also want to let you know that, when I have a student who comes to me who says I might be pregnant, I take her directly to that the social worker we have from Strong Tomorrows, and they arrange to take them for a pregnancy test or take them themselves, and then start talking to them about their program and how they can help support them in having their child. So,
and is abortion discussed at all during those programs inside the school? Is it presented as an option?
I've never heard the social worker present it as an option.
Well, I hope it's not.
It's I don't even know if adoption is discussed. It's like this is how you can keep your child, and this is what we do.
Yeah, and I'm thankful to hear that. I'm not here to say that everything about this school is the worst in the world. You know what I'm saying? I do think that at its base it's bad, and I stand against its existence. But that does not mean that every specific thing inside the fallacy of composition. Just because certain parts are bad doesn't mean the whole is bad.
I just wanted to request the pictures.
I understand. I sure appreciate the way that you've discussed it with me as well. I think the reasons for showing the pictures override the objections, with all due respect. But I certainly understand. I have every sympathy for it. I want to encourage you as well. If it's what I tell everybody else. If you hate these pictures so much, just like I do, let's work together to abolish this. There's so much that needs to be done.
Yeah, and I feel like we're doing that in there.
I'm just encouraging you. There's more that can be done. That's your job, and I'm not denigrating the job. We should work. Okay. I work in a computer job. It's you might say it's neutral, morally speaking. I help people fix their computers, right? So in my leisure time, I choose to do this. I could be watching football, or I could be playing video games, but instead I preach the gospel and I expose the abortion holocaust because I believe it's so important. We've been blessed with lots of leisure time and free speech, and not everybody needs to get on some bullhorn and act like a weirdo in front of schools, but we all can spread around literature. For example, we can spread around ideas, create dissent in the culture with salty conversation and whatnot. But I just want to, this doesn't have to be the last word or anything either. Yeah. I know you have to go at some point.
Yeah,
I don't think that you can get any good done unless you're reconciled to God. The Bible says that the heart that is not that doesn't belong to Jesus, it doesn't want to do good. We even the good that we try to do, we screw up. All of our filth, all of our good deeds are like a filthy rag, like the Bible says in Isaiah. And I accept that for myself, right? I'm not out here trying to earn brownie points. I'm out here because I love Jesus. I love the students, even though it seems weird.
This is your passion.
Yeah.
I got it.
And God has given it to me because I understand the times in which we live. I see the guilt that's on our nation. I see the tragedy that is all these dead babies. I've lost 3 babies myself to miscarriage, and I felt their loss. Yeah, so you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
And it wasn't anything you did. It's just that you feel the loss of that child.
Nature intervenes.
Yeah, God intervenes, I believe. I believe it's God who took my child for a purpose that he knows, and it's a good purpose, to do me good, to lead me to depend on him more, to know him better. And I pray that for you too. I pray that for everybody.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
It's a real privilege. Thank you. Thank you for talking to me.
Thank you.
Yeah, God bless you.